They said the sky had turned crimson that day, the river steaming as if it had been fed by the dragon's own breath. I stood on the ridge overlooking the valley, my hand gripping the rough bark of the old oak that marked the edge of the village. The wind carried the scent of damp earth and something metallic, like iron from the smithy. A low, guttural growl rolled over the hills, and the ground trembled beneath my boots. I had never seen a beast with scales that glimmered like polished obsidian, nor heard the sound of its wings beating against the sky. Yet as the dragon descended, the world seemed to hold its breath. Villagers shouted, pots clattered, dogs squealed. My heart hammered against my ribs as the creature's massive claws tore at the trees, sending splinters flying like shards of broken glass. The King's men, a ragged band of soldiers, had already formed a line in the village square, their armor clinking. They stared at the beast with eyes wide as the moon, their spears pointing like the teeth of a giant. I could feel the heat from the dragon's nostrils, a hiss of flame that painted the air orange and red. The beast's eyes, amber and cruel, turned toward the village, and a roar erupted, swallowing the wind. Then a figure stepped forward, cutting through the chaos like a blade through silk. He rode a horse darker than night, its mane flowing like a banner in the wind. He wore armor that caught the light, each plate a polished mirror. His shield, emblazoned with a cross, glinted as if it were a promise. He was Saint George, the man of legend, whose name was whispered in reverence in every corner of the kingdom. I had heard tales of him, his courage and faith. I had seen his marble statue in the church, his sword held high. But to see him in person, standing beside the king's men, made the world tilt. He was taller than the tallest tower, his presence commanding yet humble. He spoke a single word to the crowd, his voice echoing through the valley, "Stand firm." The dragon, unbothered by the saint's presence, turned its massive head toward the village. Its eyes narrowed, a flicker of menace flashing across its jaws. The beast let out another roar, so deep it seemed to shake the very stones. Its wings spread wide, casting a shadow over the village. The dragon's tail whipped, a blur of terror. I heard the clatter of spears, the hiss of blades. St. George raised his shield, and the dragon's fire struck it, but the metal held firm, reflecting a glint that bathed the village in a holy glow. The beast's claws slammed into the ground, sending a shockwave through the earth. People screamed, but the saint's calm voice steadied them. He did not shout for the king. He simply raised his sword, the blade catching the light, and stepped forward. The air grew hot, pressing against my face. The dragon's breath, a torrent of flame, licked at the air, but the saint's shield held it back. The beast lunged, jaws opening wide, and I could see the glint of its teeth, the sheen of its scales. The saint met it head-on, his sword flashing in the fire. The blade struck the dragon's side, and a scream of pain echoed across the valley. The dragon twisted, its body flailing like a great serpent, and the saint's shield held the beast's weight as it crashed to the ground. The battle was fierce, but the saint moved with the grace of a dancer. He dodged the dragon's tail, his feet moving like a shadow. He struck again and again, each blow a testament to faith and strength. The dragon, in pain, let out a final roar, its eyes blazing with fury. It rose, wings beating like thunder, and the saint rode his horse higher, his sword poised. With a single decisive swing, he drove the blade into the beast's heart. The dragon fell, its body shuddering, its wings collapsing like broken wings of a bird. A silence fell over the valley, broken only by the distant echoes of the beast's dying breath. People fell to their knees, faces turned toward the saint. They wept, tears mingling with the dust on the ground. The king, armor dented, approached the saint, eyes wide with disbelief. He placed a hand on the saint's shoulder and in a hushed tone said, "You have saved us all." The saint turned to the people, his eyes softening. He lifted his sword and in a voice that resonated with compassion said, "It is not I who is honored, but the one who gives faith. The dragon was a symbol of darkness, and I am but a messenger of light." I felt a chill run down my spine, all beyond words. The saint bowed his head, and the people bowed in return. The sky cleared, clouds parting to reveal a brilliant Sunday. The air smelled of fresh grass, of new beginnings. As the day faded, I walked back to my home, mind replaying the battle like a vivid film. The saint's armor shone, the dragon's scales glimmered in memory, the sound of the sword cutting through air. I had witnessed a miracle, a testament to faith and bravery. I realized the legend of St. George was not just a story, but a living testament of hope. Years later, when village children asked me how the dragon was defeated, I would look at them, my eyes reflecting that day, and say, it was not the strength of a man, but the strength of a heart that believed in a brighter tomorrow. The legend of St. George lives on, not only in stone and song, but in the beating of our hearts, the courage we summon when darkness looms. And I, a simple witness, carried that story within me, a reminder that even in the face of the fiercest beast, faith can illuminate the darkest night.